When you hear the word prayer, do you picture someone sincerely expressing their wishes to a divine being? But did you know that in Taoism, there's a form of prayer not directed at the god, but at your own heart, lungs, and even your eyes, ears, and nose? Sound a little unbelievable? Well, today, let's talk about how prayer works in Taoism. I'm Daoist Zhao Ning from Shengxuan Daoism. We're a living path of Daoist cultivation dedicated to make Daoism more accessible worldwide. If you find our content helpful, please like, share, and subscribe. And feel free to leave your questions in the comments. We'd love to hear what you're curious about Daoism. Alright, let's get started. In Taoism, prayer to external deities certainly exists, but there's also a unique kind of prayer, not outward, but directed inward, to the gods within the body. In the Shangqing tradition that based their practice on the yellow cord scripture, or what's called Huangtingjing, practitioners believe that the human body is a little cosmos, governed by countless internal deities and gods. Each organ, such as the heart, liver, spleen, lungs, kidneys, and each sensory organs, like eyes, ears, nose, and tongues, and so on, is believed to have its own guardian god. Within this system, illness or discomfort is understood as a result of particular internal deity becoming clouded or displaced, unable to properly manage its associated organ. This is why the tradition developed specific methods of praying to the internal deities. Practitioners engage in meditative stillness, visualize the internal gods, recite sacred chants, and offering intentions, restoring and strengthening clarity and balance to each of these inner rulers. You can think of this type of prayer as a deep conversation between the mind and body, not simply wishing for health, but consciously encouraging and energizing your organs through spiritual attention. It's important to note that Taoism does not treat these inner gods as literal beings with full personalities. Instead, they embody spirit, or what's called ling, representing natural rules and mechanisms that govern bodily functions. The term ling or spirit in this context doesn't imply human like emotions or intelligence. It refers to the idea that everything in the universe operates by its own inherent laws. Through focused intention, visualization, and mental engagement, practitioners can connect to the underlying structures behind these laws, accessing what we might call the backstage of the governing principles in the cosmos and human body. This is the heart of Taoist inner cultivation. Daoism also includes prayer directed toward external deities. On the surface, these practices may look familiar: offering incense, bowing, submitting written petitions, or setting up ritual offerings. But the internal logic of Taoism's divine system is quite unique. Taoism adopts a polytheistic model. Different gods govern different domains of the universe and human world, and their rank, power, and responsibilities form a structure, somewhat like a cosmic government, maintaining order in the cosmos and human world. For more on this, see our earlier episodes, What is Taoist Religion? However, at its core, Taoism does not view these gods as supernatural individuals with personality or personal will. Instead, each deity or god represents a particular function or laws within nature, expressed through a personified symbol. In ancient times, abstract principles were difficult to grasp, so representing the principles as divine figures allow people to interact more intuitively with the underlying laws of the cosmos. This is how spiritual resonance a key Taoist principle was activated. Praying to these deities isn't simply about asking for help. It's about tuning your mind and spirit to a particular natural law, aligning yourself with it so that real transformation becomes possible in reality. In other words, you are not presenting a wish to a god who responds like a person. You're using a form that your mind can connect with to interface with cosmic principles and bring yourself into greater harmony with natural laws. This is also why Taoism has developed so many gods and divine hierarchies throughout its history, because these deities are essentially representations of countless natural patterns. Different practitioners, traditions, and interpretations have recognized and categorized these laws in various ways, giving rise to a fluid, evolving pantheon. I hope today's discussion gave you a clearer and deeper understanding of how Taoist prayer works. If you found this content meaningful, please like, share, and subscribe to support us. Let us know in the comments below what Taoist topics you'd like to explore next. Again, I'm Taoist Zhao Ning from Shengxuan Daoism. We're a living path of Taoist cultivation dedicated to make Taoism more accessible worldwide. Stay tuned and see you in the next video.